with your First Alert Storm Team forecast.
Good morning, Gulf Coast. We'll begin in the tropics where we're tracking two tropical storms. One of those is Tropical Storm Gamma. That does not pose a foreseeable threat here, but we're paying more closely attention to Tropical Storm Delta. Newly formed Tropical Storm Delta as of 7 o'clock in the morning has winds of 40 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Here's the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center. It's going to continue generally working its way to the west-northwest before getting close to the Yucatan Peninsula or the tip of Cuba at some point later tomorrow, and then will merge into the Gulf of Mexico. The National Hurricane Center thinks when it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, it will be a Category 1 hurricane. From there, it will continue moving to the northwest and likely will continue strengthening. The forecast calls for Tropical Storm Delta to become a Category 2 storm, but it could be stronger. It could be weaker. There are still some question marks in the long-range aspect of this forecast, both with the track and also with the intensity as well. It will then turn more towards the north and possibly to the northeast. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is targeting southeastern Louisiana for a landfall, but a landfall is possible anywhere from the Texas-Louisiana line all the way over to northwest Florida. So again, still a lot of question marks to be answered here when it comes to Tropical Storm Delta, but our entire area is included in the forecast cone, which means we could see a landfalling hurricane in our neighborhood later this week, most likely on Friday. We have a couple of days to watch this. But make sure you're following the forecast closely. Now is a good time to go over your hurricane preparedness plan and also resupply your hurricane kit as well, just in case it does come here. Again, we could see some changes to this, so make sure that you're staying tuned when it comes to Tropical Storm Delta. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the nuts and bolts of this forecast. If my clicker will move, there we go. We have the forecast models that's going to take Delta to the northwest, and then you'll see as we go into Thursday, it's going to start to move more to the north, and some forecast models take it to the northeast. Some forecast models take it to the west a little bit more. And just keep in mind that these are just a collection of spaghetti models. There are more out there. Some forecast models take it farther east. Some forecast models take it west. And what these spaghetti plots don't tell you is how large the storm is going to be, how intense the storm is going to be, and how wide-ranging the impacts could be as well. So just keep that in mind. Most of the spaghetti plots are showing southeast Louisiana, but being day 4 and day 5 out, could very easily see some changes east or west. Let's talk about the steering pattern, because we have a high pressure to the east, you have a trough to the west, and don't forget, you have Tropical Storm Gamma near the Yucatan Peninsula. In the next couple of days, we could see Gamma influence Tropical Storm Delta and maybe pull it farther to the west, depending on how strong or weak Gamma is at that point. If it's a weaker system, it's really not going to have much of an influence at all. If Gamma stays a tropical storm, it could pull Tropical Storm Delta a little bit farther to the west. Either way, it's most likely going to be steered by a high pressure as we move from Wednesday into Thursday, but as we go from Thursday into Friday, it's going to start to feel more of the influence of an upper level trough, and that trough is going to pull it north and then pull it more towards the northeast. Again, we're likely looking at a landfall at some point on Friday. Hopefully this trough adds some wind shear to the environment, and hopefully the sea surface temperatures in the northern Gulf of Mexico with the cooler weather that we've had recently can also influence this as well. But as we move forward, as it moves into the central Gulf of Mexico, it is going to be moving into a very favorable environment. So if this becomes a stronger storm, then that wind shear and that cooler water temperature might not have as big of an impact on Delta. All of those are just questions that we'll have to continue to wait and see with Delta. So make sure that, again, you stay tuned to what's happening with the forecast, because we could see a hurricane make its way towards the central Gulf Coast later this week.